The Holy See in Rome, founded by Peter? Jesus clarifies. Chapter 162. The Order in the Household of God. Said Simon Judah, Lord, when will this happen on earth? Said I, Simon Judah, because of your mighty faith, I have given you the keys to the kingdom of God, and have called you a rock upon which I will build my church, which shall not be conquered by the gates of hell. You would be a new Aaron, and sit upon his chair. Yes, you will be a propagator of my word, together with your other brothers. But when it will be known among the Gentiles, after several hundred years, it will be pretended in Rome that you have established such a throne there. And the nations, who will be forced to it with fire and sword, will also believe the false prophets, that you, as the first Prince of Faith, have set up such a throne in Rome, and from it rule the whole earth and its princes and nations in my name. But behold, this will be a false throne, from which much evil will be spread across the entire earth, and no one will know where you have set up the right throne, the throne of love, truth, living faith and life, and who your true successor is. But such a false throne will indeed last for a long time, much longer than 1,000 years, but will not live to see 2,000 years of age. And now do the math, if you can. When this false throne will have become rotten, and will no longer have any support, then I will come again, and my kingdom with me. And you too will come to earth with me, and be my witnesses before those with whom we will still find the true and pure faith. But in that time, it will also require a great purification, so that people will recognize me once again and believe in me alone. But what I have now revealed to you in confidence, you must keep quiet for now. The time will come when this will be proclaimed aloud from every rooftop. The other disciples said, Lord, can this not be avoided? Said I, Oh yes, then men would have to be transformed into pure machines. You also say, But why are there always such violent winds and storms on the sea? Well, I say, let us take them away, and the sea will no longer be driven by dangerous waves and surges, and skippers will be able to sail the seas in peace and without danger. But the very calm sea will then become foul, and fill all parts of the earth with pestilence, and natural life will no longer be conceivably possible, neither on the dry land nor in the sea itself. So, all water would have to be turned into stone. But if so, where would all living creatures, such as plants and animals, obtain their most necessary nourishment? But that the sea may remain as it is, as well as all other waters, the winds and storms must also remain, through which the sea is constantly kept in unrest, and by the resulting activity maintained, so that it does not let its salt of life sink to the bottom and become putrid and pestilential. But what the winds and storms are to the sea, the permitted spiritual trials and battles are to man, which every man on this earth must more or less pass, and through them fight his way up towards the true life. But what applies in a small measure to the time of life for each individual human being on this earth also applies to whole tribes of nations after a more extended time. A small brook flows through only a short distance until it unites with a larger brook, which then has to flow through a much greater distance until it streams into a large river. But the river must then wander through wide and large stretches of land until it becomes one with the ocean. But this ocean then flows around and floods the whole earth, and it livens the land and all natural creatures in and on it with its salt, which fills the whole earth's air in the finest and most vaporous dissolution, which is brought about by the winds and storms. A thousand different kinds of waters, pure and impure, sweet, sour, bitter, healthy and unhealthy, fall into the great ocean. Yet within the ocean they all become one, and have one salt, from which countless forms of natural organic life takes its basic substances and processes it according to its nature. But just as the great ocean relates to the entire creation of the whole earth, so does the great spiritual kingdom relate to the various living conditions of the people on this earth. Each individual human being is like a small brook. A community is a somewhat larger brook. A large brook is already like a nation. A river is a tribe, and the sea represents, first and foremost, and especially along its extensive shores, all the peoples of the earth, who merge in it into a single element. But the main and in itself shoreless sea denotes the people in the spirit realm, which contains infinity in itself, and is therefore, through its consistently living nature, the primordial ground of all that exists. As already shown, all creaturely natural life depends on the constant movement of the ocean. The greater the activity brought about by severe storms and currents, the more vital activity it also produces in all creatures of the solid earth, and with it a better growth. If, after this, people become lukewarm, sluggish, sleepy, and lightless in their inner life activity, there are equally great movements in the endless world of spirits, and these then also cause all kinds of movements and upheavals among the people still living on this earth through their influx. One people rises up against the other. One teaching fights against the other, and it goes on for a long time until people are set into the greatest possible life activity. As a result, things become lighter and brighter among them. The apparent distress makes them inventive, and in this way forces them to ever greater and more orderly activity. Through such activity, the peoples, who once knew hardly anything about each other, become acquainted with each other, and over time become mutually beneficial. And the light grows among them more and more over time, creating an ever greater need for a tangible truth of life. When this need finally becomes more and more general, and people are no longer satisfied with the pure belief in authority, which always begets dark and indolent superstition, then it is also time to give them a great and tangible light of life, full of clarity and truth. Behold, the many people upon this earth, now mired in all manner of lethargy and darkness of life, as if in a deep slumber, must be set into a great and stormy movement until they are awakened after a longer period of time, so that, in such an awakened condition, they finally begin to feel what they lack.